Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Sire from On the Hunt Podcast. Today, I am back for you guys. It's been, 2 weeks since I made my last last episode for you guys. I did a double episode before I went on vacation. So I'm back, rejuvenated, and ready to go to talk about sports. This is going to be a solo episode for you guys. This is going to be episode 63 for you guys today, coming on all 4 of our platforms. Our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's dive into it. We're going to be talking about NFL right out of the gate. I'm going to be talking about the best division in football this year. It's going to be the AFC West. Things are going to be absolutely jam-packed in that division. We're hoping for a lot of competitive divisional games that's going to happen in the AFC West this year. But today, I'll be sharing my prediction of which team I believe will win the AFC West division. Now, every team is loaded with a divisional with a gifted quarterback. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. The Los Angeles Chargers have Justin Herbert. The Denver Broncos have Russell Wilson. And the Las Vegas Raiders have Derek Carr. All 4 quarterbacks are very talented, absolutely can hold their own in the National Football League. There's no right or wrong answer. They're surrounded by a great team, all 4 quarterbacks are. So there's no right or wrong answer who you guys believe will win this AFC West division. But in my opinion, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers winning this division. I can see them taking this division away from the Kansas City Chiefs, who have absolutely dominated the AFC West since Peyton Manning retired. And since the Denver Broncos won their last Super Bowl in 2015, 2016, the Kansas City Chiefs have absolutely dominated the AFC West and have actually won a division for the last 6 years and counting. That's pretty impressive for racking up divisional wins. So I think that the reason why the Los Angeles Chargers are going to take this division, they're going to take the NFL by storm this year. They have one of the best rosters in the league. They also have the best roster, I believe, in the AFC West. They're loaded top to bottom, offense and defensively. I think both units are going to be in a top 5, top 10 at the worst this year. But I think offense is going to be top 5. I think defense is going to be top 5. Offensively, you look on the offensive side of the ball, you have Justin Herbert, you have Austin Eckler at the halfback position. You have Isaiah Spiller, who's going to be getting a lot of touches, a lot of reps as a rookie in the backfield as well. You have Keenan Allen as your number 1 wide receiver. You have Mike Williams as his tag team partner as the number 2 wide receiver. And the offensive line is just absolutely going to be better than what they were over the last few seasons. So better days are coming for the Los Angeles Chargers, especially on the offense of the ball. Then let's dive into the defensive side of the ball, where they have their ace at the on the defensive side of the ball, Joey Bosa. You have him tag teaming up on the defensive line with Khalil Mack. You have J.C. Jackson, who is a top 5 cornerback in the National Football League, in my opinion. It's so silly that the New England Patriots didn't even offer him a contract extension. He got the money he deserved, and he's going to be playing for a team that's going to be contending for the next few years or even more in the Los Angeles Chargers. So they got their number 1 corner in J.C. Jackson, who's going to be locking up a lot of number 1 wide receivers. And especially, I think he's going to do a great job against these number 1 wide receivers in the AFC West. You're talking about potentially Juju Smith, who's going to be the number 1 wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're talking about Devontae Adams. I'm looking forward to the matchups that J.C. Jackson and Devontae Adams are going to have against each other one-on-one. You're talking about potentially him playing against Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy, whoever the Broncos decide is going to be their number 1 wide receiver. Those battles are going to be absolutely tremendous. I should say, not horrendous, tremendous. But then on the other side, his tag team partner on the other side of the field will be Asante Samuel Jr., playing on the other side of the cornerback position. I think him playing as the second cornerback on this defensive side of the ball for the Los Angeles Chargers absolutely benefits them, because last year he did pretty good playing as a number 1 corner, got his reps, got his shine at the number 1 cornerback position. But heading into a sophomore season, I think it's going to take a lot of the defensive pressure, because at the end of the day, I think obviously quarterback is a lot to digest and play the position, but I think at the cornerback position, it takes a lot of pressure and to play the position well, because you're on your own island covering the best receivers that there are in the league. So Asante Samuel Jr. playing at the number 2 cornerback position actually benefits his game, and I think he's having a breakout sophomore season. Then you have Derwin James, who just put pen to paper today, is now the highest paid safety in the National Football League. They have all these players on the defensive side of the ball, all the players I just mentioned a few moments ago on the offensive side of the ball. There's no reason why the Los Angeles Chargers won't win this division and take the NFL by storm this year. Now, I'm going to get into the reasons why I don't think these other three teams are going to win the AFC West this year. You look at the Las Vegas Raiders. They're stacked on offense. This offense is built at what you would build in a Madden franchise. They have Derek Carr at quarterback. They have Josh Jacobs at running back. They have Devontae Adams at wide receiver. They have Hunter Renfrow at wide receiver. And they have Darren Waller at the tight end position. All of these key tangible elements for the Las Vegas Raiders' success this season. The offense is going to be tremendous, put a lot of points on the board. However, you got to win on all three phases, and I'm not even mentioning special teams in this segment, but you got to win on all three phases of the ball: offense, defense, and special teams. But Raiders can't even rely on their defense. They added Chandler Jones on the defensive side of the ball this NFL offseason to play alongside Max Crosby. I just don't think that's going to be enough. The acquisition of Chandler Jones at this point in his career, had a decent year last year with the Arizona Cardinals, but I don't think that acquisition is going to be enough to uplift this defense. I'm looking at their defense. They don't have much help at the linebacker position. They really don't have much help at the secondary position. You're talking about key wide receivers that you're going to play twice a year. Total, all of these teams are at to play the other team, all the three teams at a total of 6 times in a row. And when you have Nate Hobbs as your number one cornerback, it just doesn't seem good. So that just eliminates the fact that the Raiders are going to win the AFC West for me. Then we switch it over to the Denver Broncos. Yes, the Denver Broncos, I have preached about the Denver Broncos being 2 steps away from being a contending team in the National Football League. I said all they needed was a franchise quarterback and a new head coach. Well, they got 2 of those things in the NFL offseason, but I think the reason why the Denver Broncos are not ready to win the AFC West just yet, I think it's going to be experience for the Broncos. Now, you might ask, how are you going to say experience when you have Russell Wilson, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League and one of the best clutch players in the National Football League? Well, I'll tell you, it takes time to build chemistry, especially at the quarterback position and the head coach position. So Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett, who was the Packers offensive coordinator last year, they're going to be doing their thing together both in their first year with the Denver Broncos. It's going to take time to build chemistry together. Yes, they're going to get the play calling down together. They're going to learn as the season goes on. But I think the chemistry and the experience, the lack of their experience together is going to be the reason why the Denver Broncos do not win the AFC West this year. And then I'm looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, who have been the alpha males, the top dogs of this division for the last 6 years. Kansas City Chiefs might lose this division not having a top 5 wide receiver anymore after they traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins during the NFL offseason. When you lose a top 5 wide receiver, it's going to hurt the production of the offense no matter how you look at it. Yes, they're going to be I believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be a top 5 unit offensively. However, no matter how many replacement receivers, no matter how many role players at the receiver position, Juju Smith, Mecole Hardman, Sky Moore, anybody is not going to be able to duplicate what Tyreek Hill did for the Kansas City Chiefs over the last few seasons. And the connection that Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill had will definitely be missed by the Kansas City Chiefs this season. So I think it's definitely going to hurt them offensively, and defensively they lost a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of players that helped them turn things around in the second half of the season when they looked down and out and they looked like they weren't even going to make the playoffs. The defense was actually one of the reasons why they went all the way to the AFC Championship and lost to the Cincinnati Bengals last year. So when you lose a top 5 wide receiver in Tyreek Hill and you lose defensive players on the side of the ball, I just don't see the Kansas City Chiefs winning this division. It can all be set up for the Kansas City Chiefs' failure to lose this division in the first 7 games, because they have probably the toughest first 7 games that I've looked at of every NFL team so far. Their first 7 games, week 1 they play on the road in Arizona, playing against Arizona Cardinals. That's going to be a good game. Week 2 they play, it's going to be a short week, I believe that's a Thursday night game for them. Week 2 they play at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's going to be a competitive game. Week 3 on the road against the Indianapolis Colts, who are going to be an improved team after getting Matt Ryan and replacing him with Carson Wentz. I think that's going to be a good game too. Week 4, you go on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and play Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. That's going to be one heck of a hard game for you to win and pull out in Tampa. Week 5, you play another divisional game against the Las Vegas Raiders at home. Week 6, you play the Buffalo Bills at home. That's going to be one heck of a game. And then Week 7, you play the San Francisco 49ers at home. Away in San Francisco. So to me, those are the reasons why I think none of those 3 teams will be able to win the AFC West compared to the Los Angeles Chargers this year. And the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be my pick to win the AFC West this year.